The Valari temple stood silent under 3 pale moons. Sister Ezra knelt before the healing waters, her blue skin glowing softly in the darkness. She had served the sacred order for 200 cycles, and in all that time, she had never failed to restore a wounded soul. Tonight, she feared that record would end. The human soldier lay motionless on the stone platform behind her. His chest barely moved. Blood still seeped through the emergency bandages that covered most of his torso. The Kreth warriors had torn him apart during the ambush near the border settlements. 7 plasma burns, 14 claw wounds, a punctured lung, shattered bones in both legs. The medical officers from his own fleet had declared him beyond saving. But Commander Cole had done something remarkable before he fell. He had stood alone against 40 Kreth raiders, while 300 Valari civilians escaped through the mountain passage. He had bought them 20 precious mitts with nothing but a standard rifle and a combat knife. When the rescue team finally reached him, he was still fighting, still standing, still refusing to die. Azurin rose and turned to face her patient. The other priestesses had refused this task. They believed human physiology was too primitive to accept sacred energy. They thought his wounds were too severe for any treatment. They whispered that helping a human would anger the ancestors. She did not care about their fears. The sacred energy flowed through all living things. It connected every species across the galaxy in ways that most beings could never understand. Azurin had spent her entire life studying its mysteries. She had healed Valari soldiers, Thornax merchants, even the silicon-based crystalline refugees from the Outer Rim. Each species responded differently to the sacred flow. Each required a unique approach. Humans were new to galactic society. They had joined the Alliance only 30 cycles ago, and most species still considered them primitive. Their technology was crude. Their lifespans were tragically short. Their bodies lacked the natural armor, the enhanced senses, or the elemental resistances that other species possessed. But Azurin had observed something fascinating about humans during the border conflict. They possessed an unusual energy signature. Their life force burned brighter than any species she had encountered. It flickered and danced like a wild flame, refusing to be contained or controlled. She placed her hands above Cole's chest and closed her eyes. The sacred energy began to flow through her fingertips, seeking connection with his damaged body. She expected resistance. She expected confusion. The energy usually required time to adapt to unfamiliar physiology. Instead, she felt something pull at her power with desperate hunger. Cole's body reached for the sacred energy like a drowning man reaching for air. His cells awakened one by one, drinking the healing light with fierce determination. The connection shocked Azurin with its intensity. She had never experienced anything like this before. His wounds began closing before her eyes. The plasma burns smoothed into fresh pink skin. The claw marks knitted themselves together with impossible speed. She could feel his shattered bones realigning, fusing, strengthening. His punctured lungs sealed and expanded with new breath. Azurin pushed more energy into the connection, amazed by what she witnessed. The sacred flow was not simply healing Cole's body. It was merging with his existing life force, amplifying it, transforming it into something greater. His cells were adapting to the energy in real time, learning to harness it without her guidance. This should not be possible. She pulled her hands back, gasping for breath. The healing session had drained her more than expected, but the results exceeded all her calculations. Cole's vital signs stabilized rapidly. His breathing grew stronger. Color returned to his face. Then his eyes opened. They were no longer simply brown. Traces of blue light flickered in his irises, evidence of the sacred energy now flowing through his veins. He looked at her with confusion, then recognition, then gratitude. "You saved me," he whispered. Azurin managed a tired smile. "You saved 300 of my people first." The debt required payment. Cole tried to sit up and discovered that his body responded better than before. The pain was gone. The weakness had vanished. He felt stronger than he had in years, filled with an energy he could not explain. "What did you do to me?" "I channeled the sacred energy of our ancestors into your wounds. Your body should have rejected it. Instead, your cells embraced it with remarkable enthusiasm." Cole examined his hands. His skin looked normal, but something beneath the surface had changed. He could feel power humming through his muscles, waiting to be released. The sensation was strange, but not unpleasant. "Is this permanent?" Azurin studied him with scientific curiosity. "I do not know. Humans have never received sacred healing before. Your species appears to possess an unusual compatibility with our energy. Perhaps your short lifespans have given your cells an evolutionary advantage. They must work harder to survive, so they adapt more quickly to new resources." The temple doors burst open before Cole could respond. High Priestess Morvain swept into the chamber with fury burning in her ancient eyes. 6 temple guards followed close behind her, their ceremonial spears raised and ready. "Sister Azurin, you have violated our most sacred laws. The healing waters are forbidden to outsiders. The sacred energy belongs only to the Valari." Azurin stood between the guards and her patient. "The sacred laws speak of sharing our gifts with those who prove worthy. Commander Cole sacrificed himself to protect our people. He earned this healing with blood and courage. He is human. They are barely civilized. Their species has no place in our ancient traditions." Cole rose from the platform and stepped forward. The guards tensed, but he raised his hands to show peaceful intent. "High Priestess, I mean no disrespect to your customs. I did not ask for this healing. I was unconscious when Sister Azurin chose to save my life. If my presence here offends your ancestors, I will leave immediately." Morvain studied the human with cold calculation. She noticed the blue traces in his eyes, the evidence of sacred energy coursing through his body. Her expression shifted from anger to horror. The energy bonded with him. This has never happened with an outsider before. "Perhaps the ancestors have made their judgment clear," Azurin suggested quietly. "The sacred flow chose to accept him. We should not question their wisdom." Before Morvain could respond, explosions echoed across the valley below the temple. Warning sirens screamed through the night air. A young acolyte rushed into the chamber with terror written across her blue features. "The Kreth have returned. Their fleet broke through the orbital defenses. They are landing assault troops near the civilian shelters." Morvain's anger transformed into fear. The temple guards looked at each other uncertainly. They were ceremonial warriors, trained for ritual combat, not actual battle. The Valari military forces were scattered across the border region, too far away to respond in time. Cole grabbed his damaged armor from beside the platform and began strapping it on. "How many civilians in the shelters?" "Nearly 2,000, the acolyte answered. "Mostly children and elders. The evacuation transports cannot launch while Kreth fighters control the airspace. Show me the fastest route to the shelters." Morvain blocked his path. "You cannot fight an entire Kreth assault force alone. Even with the sacred energy in your blood, you are still just one human." Cole smiled grimly. "One human held off 40 Kreth raiders for 20 minutes this morning. Now I feel stronger than I have ever felt in my entire life. Let us see what happens when I actually try." Azurin handed him a new weapon from the temple armory. The sacred blade hummed with ancient power, responding to the energy flowing through his veins. "The ancestors have chosen you for a reason, Commander. Go prove them right." Cole ran into the night, following the acolyte toward the distant sounds of battle. His enhanced senses detected Kreth movement across the valley. At least 200 raiders had landed near the shelters. They were surrounding the buildings, preparing for slaughter. The rage that Cole felt surprised him with its intensity. The sacred energy responded to his emotions, amplifying them into something pure and focused. He understood now why the Valari considered this power holy. It connected him to something greater than himself, something that demanded justice. He reached the first Creth patrol without slowing down. The blade in his hands moved faster than thought. Guided by instinct and energy he was only beginning to understand. 3 raiders fell before they realized he was there. 4 more died trying to raise their weapons. The remaining Creth scattered in confusion. They expected to face frightened civilians, not a warrior who moved like blue lightning through their ranks. Word spread quickly through their communication channels. A human was hunting them. A human with glowing eyes and impossible speed. Cole pressed forward relentlessly. Each fallen enemy brought him closer to the shelters. Each victory fed the sacred energy burning in his chest. He could feel the fear spreading through the Creth forces, taste their confusion as their carefully planned assault fell apart. 40 minutes later, he stood among the scattered remains of the assault force. 187 Creth raiders lay dead across the valley. The rest had fled back to their landing craft, abandoning their mission in pure terror. 2,000 civilians emerged from the shelters to find their rescuer standing alone under the 3 pale moons. His armor was torn and bloody. His blade still glowed with sacred light. His eyes burned with blue fire that spoke of power no human should possess. Azurin found him there at dawn, still watching the sky for any sign of returning enemies. She had brought water and food, uncertain if he would need them anymore. The High Priestess has changed her opinion about humans, she reported. The Elder Council wishes to discuss establishing formal relations with your species. They believe your unusual compatibility with sacred energy could benefit both our peoples. Cole accepted the water gratefully. The energy sustained him, but some human needs remained. What happens now? Now we learn together. Your species has qualities that we never expected. Perhaps the galaxy underestimated humanity because we were looking for the wrong strengths. Cole thought about her words as the sun rose over the mountains. Humans lacked natural armor. They lacked enhanced senses. They lacked elemental resistances. But they possessed something that other species overlooked. They possessed the will to never stop fighting. They possessed hearts that burned brighter than ancient stars. They possessed the ability to embrace any power that could help them protect the people they loved. The Valari had given him a gift that morning. In return, he had shown them why humanity would never be defeated. The wounded warrior had risen again, and the galaxy would remember this night for centuries to come. The Blue Priestess watched him with growing respect, knowing that she had witnessed the beginning of something extraordinary. Humans were not primitive. They were simply waiting for the right moment to show their true nature to the stars.